Hello, my name is Paul Abbott. I'm a new pilot, quite a low airtime pilot in the Cumbria Soaring Club, which is a BHPA club in the Lake District in the north of England. I wanted to make this video as a review of my new wing, which is the Theta ULS from Advance. It's a review from the point of view of a beginner, right? How does it feel as a comparative novice to step up onto a glider that is sold as a mid-B? Advance describe it as a mid-B, so halfway into the B category of gliders. All my other flights have been on an A-rated wing, a beginner or a school wing, and I've been flying for about a year and a half all up, but I qualified as a club pilot just 3 months ago. And since then, I've been trying to learn to thermal so I can gain height and fly cross-country around the Lake District. So this is a review really from the point of view of a comparatively green pilot, perhaps for other beginners who are looking at this wing, the Theta ULS, or wondering how it feels in the air if you're really at the beginning of your paragliding journey, as opposed to the kind of more serious top-end pilots who normally do these sorts of reviews. So the first thing to talk about is the risers. They are very well built and strong, but small, slender Dyneema material, like a rock climbing sling. Super lightweight, much smaller and narrower than the risers of my school wing that I learnt on. And the lines are unsheathed too, so there's very narrow risers and very narrow lines, but everything is color-coded. So sorting it out at takeoff is kind of doable. The colors help a lot. But because everything is smaller, you do just have to take care that there are no twists, and Advance have put some little markers on the front of the risers to make that easier. Secondly, the wing pulls up and inflates much easier than my school wings. On the old wings, to the A gliders that I was flying, they can be quite heavy to reverse launch, but the Theta is lightweight, the lighter fabric, lighter risers, everything's just easier to lift up. It really just wants to fly, come up over your head, and it doesn't shoot or flutter too much, it just pulls up and sits there. I'm a new pilot, as I've said, and mostly doing hike and fly near where I live, so I'm looking for something that allows me to progress, but first and foremost, I want something that is solid. Okay, I want something that's safe and solid and really reassuring. I need information from the wing and feedback about where the thermals are and stuff, but really I want the wing to be dampening out the roll and the pitch to a large extent. I want a calm feeling, not a washing machine. And the Theta is superb in this respect. It feels very calm. It's not sort of fidgety or fluttering at all. The wingtips are very solid as well, which hopefully you can see from the video. Even when I'm not thermaling very well and I'm kind of coming in and out of the thermals, the wingtips are really staying solid as I cut through. The airspeed of the Theta ULS is noticeably faster than the school wings, the A gliders that I've flown before. It flies fast, okay, like really noticeably faster than an A glider, and it's hotter in that respect, kind of cuts through the air. But I think there is a kind of safety in that when you are thermaling. Like, one of the problems I had learning to thermal on the A wings is the low airspeed. If you try and fly into like a punchy thermal, that big mass of air kind of knocks the glider back behind you, and it's not a very nice feeling. Whereas the Theta is faster, and I found I could glide around much more calmly because of that. I could sort of tell the glider where to go, and it was just giving me a lot less turbulence as a result. You can see hopefully from the video that my thermaling is still pretty basic. I'm often in and out of the edges on the turbulent bits, or coming out the front or out the back of the thermals or whatever. So the penetration through the air is good, but the handling too, I feel like the Theta gives you quite a lot of authority and control. The speed means you're much less likely to get pinned or going backwards in a high wind. I really felt like I could kind of just fly around without stressing about that, much more so than when I was on the school gliders. It was quite a sporty day and bouncing. It was 1 o'clock in June in the Lake District, but I didn't feel like I needed to actively pilot the glider too much. It was pretty solid. The handling, again, really is quite delicate on the Theta compared to the school gliders. Hand is quite precise. Hopefully you can see on the video that my hands aren't moving very much. You can kind of fly it around all above the carabiners, just small movements. Responds nicely to weight shift, and this video actually is too long for me to show you all of the flight. The flight ended up being more than an hour, which is just really a record for me. I managed to get up to 3,000 feet, which is the highest I've ever reached on a paraglider. Just a personal best, and that was super. The Theta had, while I was flying, this very floaty, boaty, light feeling. The conditions I think might help with that for sure, but I think that meant I was getting more airtime, right? So I think I'm starting to progress faster because I'm in the air more, but still with a feeling of being very safe. In particular, I think hopefully you can see that the wing is sorting out all of the little pitch movements for me, so I'm not having that kind of uncontrollable pendulum thing or having to manage the energy of the glider at all. It's really, really doing a lot to keep me safe. In the end, when I got tired, I pulled some big ears to get down, and there's a split A riser in the Theta that's color coded and obvious, so you can see which line to pull for big ears, and the ears go in nicely and they pop out themselves on their own, so super easy, no stress. And the speed bar was the same. When I was on big ears, I pushed out to about half bar. I haven't pushed out to full bar yet on the glider, but half bar was fine. The pulleys work very smoothly, not scary at all. I don't like G-forces or collapses in the wing or all that scary stuff. It was a nice feeling, and half bar was very gentle. So overall, I would say I'm delighted with Theta ULS, and in particular for hike and fly, I think it's ideal. It packs down very small into the reversible harness, which I have, which is key. There's some other stuff that's worth saying. So I'm flying here a 29-meter wing, which is the biggest size. I'm in the middle of the weight range, about 112 kilos all up, so somewhere in the middle. The wing itself weighs just 4 kilos, which is lighter than the average B glider, but it's still very solid in the air. So it's lightweight, but it doesn't feel like a fidgety single skin or minimalist glider. It's a full fat paraglider, but just not so heavy. And I didn't have any sense of the kind of fluttering thing that I was worried about. I was nervous, really, stepping up to a B glider because I have about 20 hours in the air, and so it's not such a high airtime yet, but it really reassured me that this is a wing that still has a lot of safety, even though it is described as a mid-B by Advanced. So thank you for watching my video and my review. I really love this wing. It's quite expensive as a wing. I think it's £4,500 or something. But if you can stretch to that money, I really do think it's worth it. So if you have any questions, please just ask me in the comments. I'll do my best to answer anything. Hopefully you can see from the video that I'm just a leisure pilot with low airtime. So I do not know about how it's going to behave in maneuvers or acrobatics or something. I think there is another video on YouTube about the Theta ULS, more focused on how it behaves in acro and SIV and so on. But clearly, I am a leisure pilot, right? So, for questions about leisure pilot stuff, ask away.